Hello guys, this is Hamoudi from Bilo Media. Welcome again to my channel guys. Today I am really excited to build this beauty. This is the ImpulseRC APEX EVODC Mr. Steel Edition. This one is a dead cat, so it will be perfect for cinematic shooting since the props will be out of view. And we will build with MEPS stack. This is a mini stack and it has a 45 amps ESC, which is plenty enough for this build. And the 2207 from MEPS 1950 kV. This looks really great. I love this color, and I printed a bunch of TPU parts to suit the color. It's almost the same color, not exactly, but almost the same, and it will look amazing. In the kit, in the frame, you have some TPUs, but I wanted to print those to make it look a little bit different, but you can get away with normal TPU, I mean the provided by ImpulseRC. I already built the frame. If you want to see how to build the frame, I will leave a link down below to the build video of the frame. I built it already and made a short review, so make sure to check that before. And we will use, of course, the O3 camera, DJI O3, and I have an ELRS receiver. This is a true diversity receiver. It has a better reception and it's not so much more expensive than the normal one. I think it's around $8 more, but you can use the normal one if you want. This build will be a 6S build, so you can use it with your LiPo batteries or the Lion batteries for longer flight time, but I think the LiPo battery will be good enough. I think I will use it with the 1500, 1400 and 1300 milliamp batteries. Let's start by attaching the motors. I have the motor here, and I want to attach the skids, the motor protections, the landing protections. This is the Mr. Steel Edition, and it has a longer screws, which is really nice. You can use the normal one provided in the basic kit as well. They look the same, but they are different color, I guess. Here you can see we have like a double holes. It's like two holes in one. I guess you use those for different mounting holes for different motors, but in our case we will use the interior ones. Perfect, so it looks like this. I like how it looks, and it will provide protection when landing, so it's perfect. You can print, I guess, the TPU or the normal plastic. I think there's a lot of files online, but I will use those. I like the brown color. Now it's time to mount the remaining motors and go from there. Nice, we have all the motors mounted now, and now it's time to get to the next step, which is installing the ESC. But before installing the ESC, I want to install the DJI air unit in the back here, and the camera, because the cable, the wire will get under the ESC, so it is easier and we will not have to take the cable out in order to do this. So let's go ahead and install the air unit. The air unit will be installed right here, and they provided us, ImpulseRC provided with some screws and some cone washers. I don't know exactly how they are called. to make the hole a little bit smaller so the screws fit properly. You can mount different things here, which is really nice, and they provide these adapters to attach it to the O3. So let me show you how this is done. We need the 30 by 30 mounting patterns. You have a smaller one, 20 by 20 as well. So you simply put this one here like this and push it, and it will sit in place like this. And we have 4 of these like this. Perfect. Now it's time to mount the O3 air unit, and ImpulseRC as well. They are giving you this isolation pad for the O3, so it will not get in contact directly with the carbon fiber, which is really nice. We have to remove first the screws that the DJI has in the bottom. Perfect. So the DJI O3 sits here, and it is really nice and well protected and isolated from the carbon fiber, which is really great. Let's install the camera now. I printed those for the camera. The original ones are a little similar, they fit perfectly, and I printed those just for the color. What is nice about those that you can move the camera in the front or in the back slightly, depending on how you mount this. If you mount it like this, the holes, as you can see, they are toward the back of the drone, and if you flip it around, the holes are to the front more. I will mount them like this, and we will see from here. This one the same, so the camera will be pointed more to the front. Those are the screws that we will use for mounting the camera. They are provided in the screws bag. Perfect. So it looks like this, and we can slightly adjust the angle like this. Here I have the stack, and it will be mounted right here, and this is the capacitor. As you can see here, the space is really tight, so I don't have so much space to put the capacitor. It is really tight, and I don't want to have problems. So what I am thinking is to put the capacitor right here in the front and extend the cable to the battery lead here. So here I have some wires, and I want to do this. So let's put some flux on the feet so the solder will stick easier. And now we are ready to put some solder. By the way, I am using the Miniware TS101. It's really a fantastic iron. I love it. I use it in all of my projects, and it's powered via a battery, which is really convenient. It's really great, guys. I really advise you to buy the same. And I have another one, the TS80P. This is really small, and it's made out of aluminum, and this is for, I have a tip on it for smaller places, which is really great. I really love Miniware products. I have another one here, and thank you Miniware for this. I really advise you to use those. You will enjoy it, believe me. So let's go ahead and put some solder. And we make the same here as well, so we tin the wires so it will be easier to solder them to the capacitor. This is the minus part, so we'll put the black wire here. We can cut the feet a little bit shorter. Now we can go ahead and attach the wires. Perfect, so it looks like this. It's really protected and nice. I printed a protection here from TPU, It's the thin layer, so it will not be in contact with the carbon fiber of the frame. We can put it here with a zip tie. Let's prepare our ESC. For this we have to put the grommets first. You have 2 bags of grommets and wires with the stack and with the flight controller, and you have 2 sizes, small ones and big ones. I will use the small ones for the ESC since we have here already some bolts down, and it is enough. The small one is enough. So our ESC, guys, will be mounted right here like this. Perfect. And we have enough space under, which is really great. I will leave those wires since I will want to put the battery lead first and after wire those. So let's go ahead and start preparing our motors. For this you don't have to do it, but I printed those motor protection stuff, and you simply put the wires inside and you put it here. So it looks like this, which is really sick. You can put here, if you want, LED, but I don't have LED strips here. I think it will look nice. And here you can put zip tie. I don't think this will fall since it has here, so it is wrapped around the arm, but just in case. Perfect. Now it's time to cut the wires so we can solder them to the ESC. Now we have to strip the wires. You can strip them with your fingernail, it's really easy, and twist them a little bit. Next step, guys, is to thin the wires. This means to put a little bit solder on the wires so they stick better. It's a good idea to use flux. It will help the wire stick really good. Next is time to put solder on the pads. So we heat the pad a little bit and feed the solder. Like this. This looks really clean. Tip, guys, if you want to have good soldering like this, before I didn't get this kind of solder because my iron was a little bit cold and I was using a smaller tip and different solder. I really love the TBS solder. It's really good, and I am using a big tip with my TS101, and the temperature is about 430 degrees, which work really good. Now it's time to solder the wires, and for this it's a good idea to use tweezers because things are really small in this step and it helps a lot. It's not important which order you solder the wires because you can flip it around in beta flight. So let's start with this one. So you put it against the pad and press with the soldering iron and release like this. Really easy and nice. Perfect, guys. Now it's looking really clean and nice. Let's go ahead now and attach the battery plug and the capacitor wire so we will not have this mess here. So for this, again, use flux, please. It will make your life really easy. the wires of the battery lead, they are pre-tinned already, so you will not have to do this, but please tin them if yours are not. Now we are ready to attach our capacitor. Now it's time to connect our ESC to the flight controller, and we have this wire. I twisted it a little bit around because we don't need so much length, and here we can connect it like this. And to the flight controller we have two plugs. This one is for connecting the ESC, and this one the DJI air unit, like this. And now we can put it here in place. Perfect, now it's nice and tight. Let's go ahead and prepare our DJI wire. It's a little bit tricky here, but I will show you. So we have this wire right here. In this part you will plug it either in the DJI air unit or in the flight controller, but in the other part we have different plug, and I will remove the wires and plug it into this one, because I need at both ends the same plug to be able to plug it to our DJI. Another thing that I will do, I will remove those two wires, since those are for the DJI RC2, the S-Bus wires, and I am using the ELRS, so I will go ahead and remove those. Let me show you how to remove those. So you will need a needle or tweezers. There is a small lip here, and you have to lift it up and grab the wire like this, and it will go out. We'll do the same for the other ones, like this. And in this part we will take all the wires out, since we need to change the plug, and we do the same process. Now we end up with this plug, which is the correct wiring. This is the plus, minus, and these are the data. As you can see here in this diagram, we have it the same way. The plus will be in this part here, so it is like this. Make sure, guys, to wire it correctly, otherwise you risk frying it. And now we go to MEPS website and see the diagram for the DJI air unit. And as you can see, I have it exactly the same. And first one is plus from this part, ground T1 and R1. So the plug will be like this, and I will grab the first wire, which is the plus one, and put it inside. Unfortunately, guys, it doesn't work because the end of these wires are different and doesn't fit into the normal plug. I have a different wire here, cable, that has both plugs the same, and it can fit here, but the flight controller has pads, 10-volt pads too, and I want to show you how to wire it in case of you if you don't have this plug. If you have this plug, then it's easy. You can wire it like I showed you. And now let's go ahead and wire the DJI to the UART number 5 right here, so we have both options available. So right here I have pad number 10 volts, and I need this for the plus, and here is the T5, this is the R5, and here I have ground, and for the receiver I have here a pad. Here is the ground, here is the 5 volts T2, no, T2 and R2. This is T2 and this is R2. Yeah. Let's start with the red one, which is the 10 volts. This one is the RX, which will go to the TX on the flight controller. This is the TX and the RX on the flight controller. And last one is the ground. The ground is a little too short for that pad. I will use different pad because it's not important. I will use this one. Time to put our receiver. For this I have the HappyModel, the True Diversity, so it has 2 antennas in the box, and one of them I printed 2 parts. One of them will be here in this part and one of them in this. Here it's a little bit tight, take your time. So let's start with this one. So the way it will go, you have a hole here, you have to feed the wire through the hole like this, and this is the part where it is a little bit hard. It has to come out here, but take your time. Like this, perfect. So now it comes out and you simply push this one inside like this. Perfect. This looks really great. I love it. And the second one is much easier. Put it like this and here like this. Let's go ahead and install them. One will come here in the back part. And the second one will come right here, like this. Before we wire the ELRS receiver, let's take the antenna out, and I printed a mount for it. This one, which will protect it, but I need to take it out from the DJI Air unit because it doesn't fit otherwise. This one we will put it here like this, and now we can push our DJI antenna like this. Perfect. Now we are ready to put it back. Perfect, and this one will come nicely here like this. It looks really organized and nice. And I have here some wires, some pre-tinned wires, but if you don't have, you can use whatever wires you want, but you have to tin them before. Now we can go ahead and solder the wires. Start with the ground, the 5 volts, the TX, which I will use the white one, and the RX, the yellow one. Now it's time to connect our antennas, but before, let's put the heat shrink. Perfect, guys. Last thing that we have to do is to wire our receiver here, and we are finished. ground, 5 volts, the R here, which is the white one, and the last one is the TX, which is the receiver RX. Perfect guys, we are finished now. Just be sure please to wire the ground and the plus to the right pads, because otherwise you will fry it. I did it before by mistake and I fried, so please make sure to check it again. I mean all the DJI air unit and the receiver, so be sure please to wire it correctly, and the capacitor as well. Last thing to do guys is to close this beauty up and attach the GoPro mount right here. It looks very nice guys, I love it. I will print another one, smaller one, because this one is too big, and I really love how it looks. It's really organized and feels very premium. Now last thing to do is to put the battery pad. I have it here. Like this, and the strap. This suits the motors and the build very good. Perfect, and it looks like this, which is wonderful. Perfect guys, let's try and see if it works as intended. For this guys, please don't forget to use the smoke stopper, because if you did something wrong you will regret it, and we don't need this. So let's plug the smoke stopper here, and I have a big battery here. Perfect, so it is working, the flight controller is working, the receiver is working, the DJI O3 is working, and it's perfect. Now the next step is to go ahead and configure the drone and bind the DJI O3 to your goggles, and do some tweaks, some configurations in the flight controller, and bind the remote control to the receiver that we have here. I will not show you those steps here in this video because I did it in other videos, and you can go ahead and watch that video for further information. I will leave a link down below to that video so you can watch the last part. And what you have to be aware, just to go to the ports tab and configure the O3 on UART number 2, I think, and the receiver on UART number 5 here, if I'm not mistaken, and all the other part is almost the same. I just did the binding for the O3 camera, so let's test this first. I have the DJI goggles too. Let's plug a battery. And as you can see here is my face, and you have some OSD values, OSD parameters here. So it is working perfect as intended, and everything is okay. And here you can see my battery voltage. It's not really clear, but yeah, it's working. Next, I configured my TX16S to work with the receiver that I have here. So you have to flash the ELRS in my case to the receiver with the same code, password that you have on the TX16S. So let's try it out. Arm it. Acro mode, angle mode. This is air mode. Perfect, so it's working. Let's try the turtle mode. Now if we arm it, it should not arm. It didn't arm. If we move the pitch stick, 2 motors should work. Perfect, and the buzzer is working as well. So guys, it is working as intended. I really love how it looks. It's really very nice, and I think it will fly amazing, because this one, it's really premium build, and it's very nice frame. It is widely known as a very good frame, and I will go ahead now outside and test it out. So thank you very much guys for watching. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.